It's been a long minute since we did a remote jobs that are hiring worldwide type of video on this channel. And if you've been following us for a good minute now, you realize that some things have changed on our website. Now, don't get me wrong. We still post remote jobs that are hiring worldwide and with the intention of serving people that are looking for opportunities worldwide in the EMEA time zone as well as in Africa specifically, because that is our niche market. So we still get to do that. However, a few things here and there have changed. What we essentially did, or the bulk of the work that we've done, is to cut off the murkiness of the noise. And now you get to have access to curated job alerts. What that means is that when you log into our website, you are required to at least select one career path that you want to get into. And then what happens is that you get curated email alerts whenever a role is posted in the career path or the department or function that you actually choose, which makes it a little bit easier for you as a remote job seeker. Because what we essentially are committed to doing is to make the remote work journey search a little bit seamless and a little bit smooth for you, the job seeker. And now that you are required to select a particular career path, a question that we keep on getting is, what role can I get into? Which role is actually high paying? Are my skills marketable in the remote job environment or ecosystem? And which department or which function is almost going to guarantee me a job? I want to answer this question in twofold. One is that for you to find out whether you can work remotely or not without necessarily having a consultation call with me, I want you to kind of always go through these markers. One, can you do your job with a laptop? Two, can you do your job with a stable internet? Three, in a quiet office space. And four, does your job require you to be physically available? I say that to mean if you are a civil engineer, at some point in your task or in your day to day, you're going to be expected to visit the site physically. So if you find that while you're undertaking your task and responsibilities, you might be required physically, that might be a hindrance for you landing a remote job. The second way in which I want to answer this question is because most people tend to think that there is one particular field that is going to almost guarantee you landing a remote job or that is easier for you to get a remote job. Now, granted, there are fields that are easier for you to get into, especially when looking for entry level opportunities. And tech roles are always being hired for. If anyone has gone through the World Economic Forum Future of Jobs report in 2025, the very first thing, one notable thing that is very clear is that big data science roles, AI roles, machine learning roles are constantly, like, the trajectory of them getting even bigger and them getting being sought after year is quite high. The roles that we are seeing, and I think I'm going to post the report over here, the roles that we are seeing are predicted to kind of be on the decline in the next couple of years are administrative assistant and executive assistant, data entry clerk, a little bit of bookkeeping, a little bit of payroll management, because now those duties can be automated, especially with AI. Now, that is not to say that if you are currently studying to be a virtual assistant, then in the next year, you're not going to find yourself with a job. But what that essentially means is that you need to be cognizant of how the job market is moving and then align yourself with where the job market is going. So, what I do advise my clients, especially for the people who are coming in and seeking virtual assisting jobs, is that I try and encourage them to expand their scopes and get into customer service because there is a lot of transferable skills between admin assistant, virtual assistant, or executive assistant, personal assistant, or even customer service. So, expand your scope a little bit and try and think out of the box. What are the transferable skills that you have from one department onto the other, or rather from your career path that you can pivot into another career path? The reason as to why I say that we need to use trends as a way of aligning is because in 2022 the most sought after roles was accounting, of course, aside from the tech roles. And we are now talking about the support functions. Yeah, the most sought after role was accounting, believe it or not. Yeah, in 2023 the most sought after role was sales and digital marketing. And then lastly, last year, aside from AI trainers, MLs, Those are like machine learning experts, prompt engineers. The most sought after non IT and data roles was, get this, customer service, project management, and community managers. So if you were to go with the trends, then if you had asked me 2022, I'd say, you know what, try and get into accounting. If it was 2023, I'd say try get into sales and customer service or even account management. Last year, I would have told you, let's try and do digital marketing, which is quite difficult for you to keep up with. So that's why I say it is good to follow the trends, yes, and be aware of where the job market is actually going. But it is far more important for you to align yourself with where they're going. Try and incorporate some of the buzzwords that you're currently hearing. For example, anyone out there who hasn't done a course on AI and doesn't know how to incorporate AI in their day to day is kind of lagging behind. So you want to also do that. And then you also want to get into the habit of making data driven decisions. I think I did an entire video just talking about this in terms of the skills and capabilities that remote companies are actually looking for and remote recruiters are looking for. So watch the trends, yes, but also find a way of aligning without necessarily changing your career path, but find a way of aligning yourself with where the future of work is. So before we get into today's video, let's do a little bit of housekeeping. If you're watching this video and you're finding value in it, please feedback to me. I appreciate feedback. Let's communicate. Like this video, comment, and absolutely subscribe, because that way, what it does is that it helps the algorithm to push these videos to people who are actually looking for more remote jobs, and we can enhance and build our community. So thank you very much. So now that we've covered the most sought after remote jobs in the past 3 years, and we've also covered what the World Economic Forum Future of Jobs Report 2025 has highlighted as the trajectory of the jobs moving forward in the coming years. So this is what we're going to be talking about in this video. We're going to be covering different functions, the roles that are being hired for that are listed on our website, and how much money you can earn working for a particular function or department. We are starting with accounting, seeing as they was most sought after in 2022. So on average, an accounting role can fetch you anything between $60,000 to $96,000 annually. Yes. And get this, a bookkeeping role can fetch you up to $12,000 annually. That is entry level. And a junior accountant can fetch you up to 24,000 US dollars annually. So what we have found is that for accounting roles, most companies actually, or most recruiters, look out for four things. One, do you have a degree? Do you have a diploma in accounting or even a certificate in accounting? Two, are you certified? So do you have your CPAs? Do you have your ACCAs? Three, do you have a working knowledge of either the US GAAP principles, UK GAAP principles, or even IFRS? And then lastly, four, do you have experience with any finance or accounting softwares? If you got all those four, then you can start sending out your applications. And these are the accounting jobs that are listed on our website. The second department that we are featuring today is HR. The beauty with HR is that it is broad. So you can work as a people partner, you can work as a people operations, which is basically like the back end of HR, and you get to work on the systems, the HRISs, leave management, all that. Then you can also work as a talent acquisition, or you can work in talent acquisition, you can work in change management, learning and development, performance management, and even just general HRBP roles. So HR roles can earn you anything between 44,000 to 82,000 US dollars annually. And get this, we do find that talent acquisition specialists or people in the talent acquisition sub department actually get paid way more than any other HR role. So if you wanted to kind of venture into HR and you were thinking, where can I start? Perhaps you start with talent acquisition. So what you have found out in the years that you've been doing this is that for HR roles, they look at one, DEI, they look at, do you have experience with any ATS? Do you have experience with any HRIS? Are you comfortable with policy development and implementation? employment laws, and all those things. So yeah, it is a plus when you are accredited, whether locally or globally. So try and find associations or HR associations that you can join. There's a global one called SHRM. So you want to be a member of that, even if it's just an associate member. And these are the HR roles that are being hired for on our website or that are listed on our website. The third department or function that we are featuring today is customer service. And the reason as to why I absolutely love customer service is because one, there is no degree in customer service. Two, you come with your degree and your experience. And if you are great with relationship building, solving problems, customer facing, then you absolutely can thrive in a customer service role. The average earnings for a customer service professional is between 34,000 US dollars to 49,000 US dollars annually. And get this, customer service has now changed because now they're termed as customer happiness engineers, customer support professionals or representatives, customer experience, customer success. And it is so important that you actually understand or that you are aware of how they are being termed as or how your profession is actually being renamed into, so that when you're scouting for opportunities, you know what you're looking for. Now, these are the customer service opportunities or customer experience opportunities that are listed on our website. The fourth function that we are featuring today is sales. Now, the beauty with sales is that you can be a sales associate or a sales executive, then you can be an account manager. You can also get into BDR or BDM, being business development manager or even business development representative or even like an account executive. All these is actually sales. And the other thing is that if you're able to work as a sales representative, an account manager, an account executive, you can work as a customer service professional as well. There is a lot of transferable skills between these two departments. The average compensation you should expect to earn as a sales professional is anything between 55,000 to 102,000 US dollars annually. The only kicker is because most of these remote companies are actually startups, and they're startups either in blockchain or Ethereum industry or fintech, design tech, edutech, SaaS, or even B2B. They do want, or rather, they are more biased towards someone who's got relevant and related experience. So if you do not have that, then you might struggle just a little bit for you to land a remote sales role. And these are the sales opportunities that are listed on our website. The fifth function that we are featuring today is legal. And yes, you can work as a legal professional in the remote space. I actually find that for the legal professionals who are comfortable with the contract laws, employment laws, policy development and implementation, employment laws, as well as IP, tend to thrive in this environment. Reason being, as a legal professional, chances are you're going to be working very, very closely with the HR department just so as to kind of protect the company from any litigation and make and ensure that they are actually covered. So yeah, it would be prudent of you to know the contract laws, get familiar with the ILO and just global employment laws. On average, legal professionals earn anything between 73,000 to 136,000 US dollars annually. And these are the remote opportunities that are currently listed on our website. The sixth function that we are featuring today is health, and we are focusing on nurses. Yes, so nurses, therapists, all that, you're going to bundle them into one. On average, a registered nurse should expect to earn anything between 115,000 to 157,000 US dollars per month. Now, this is an up and coming segment or sector in the remote space, especially with the digitalization of health records. We are now seeing doctors can work remotely, nurses can work remotely, therapists can work remotely, psychiatrists can also work remotely. So, like I mentioned, on average, a nurse should expect to earn between 115 and 157,000 US dollars annually. However, there is actually a big caveat. Most remote companies would want you to be licensed and registered in one of the US states. That is just something that we have to deal with at the moment. So they're not quite open to hiring globally at the moment, at least for most of the remote companies. However, this is not the case for therapists, because you find roles that require therapists are actually open to hiring from across the globe. So they are more open-minded about it. And on average, a therapist role can earn you anything between 63,000 to 114,000 US dollars annually. So let's talk about IT and data roles. I feel like the remote setting or the remote ecosystem is actually filled with these ones. I don't want to dwell so much on them. But I would be unfair to our followers or members of our community who are actually looking for data roles and also IT roles. What we've done is we've divided them into three. So a data analyst, a data scientist, and a web developer, just to cover a few. We've got roles in AI, we've got prompt engineers, we've got cybersecurity, which is quite broad, to be honest with you. But I find like most of our followers or members of our community actually ask for these three. So on average, a data analyst role will earn you anything between 71,000 to 106,000 US dollars annually. A data scientist role will earn you anything between 97,000 to 148,000 US dollars annually. And a web developer role, whether it is front end, back end, or full stack, can earn you on average between 66,000 to 105,000 US dollars annually. The thing that you have to note, remember when we spoke about the declining roles according to the World Economic Forum Future of Jobs report, is that the data entry clerks are actually going on a decline. This is because more and more companies are looking for big data analysts. That's why a data entry clerk hasn't featured on this video. So let's get ahead of the curve and get comfortable with data visualization tools and just crunching big data. Last but definitely not the least, this is the 11th function that we are featuring today, and it is marketing. When you're talking about marketing, what we've done is that we have actually bundled trade marketing, product marketing, performance marketing all into one. So that is marketing, and those roles can fetch you anything between 62,000 to 116,000 US dollars annually. Then we've got social media managers, digital marketers all under one, and that can fetch you anything between 42,000 to 75,000 US dollars annually. And lastly, we are seeing more and more community managers actually getting hired for, especially in the blockchain industry where you actually want to get into as well. Yeah. So on average, community managers get to earn between 47,000 to 69,000 US dollars annually. And these are some of the remote opportunities that are listed on our website. So I hope that this video has brought clarity as to what to expect and quote when you're talking about expected compensation. But more importantly, before you actually come up with a figure, have a look at what are you currently earning at the moment? What are some of the benefits that you're currently experiencing? Because again, there are a ton of benefits that you get to enjoy when you're working remotely, but that doesn't mean that each and every employer is going to offer you that. So what you want to do is have a look at, if you're in Kenya, for example, I can speak to that. You look at your monthly salary, you look at the pension that you're getting, you look at the share that you're getting, you look at any other benefit that you're getting, conglomerate all of that and then move from there. So have an expected salary based off of your consolidated amount, because chances are some companies are going to give you a consolidated amount, whether it is 60,000, whether it is 34,000 annually, that's going to be consolidated. So you still have to take care of all the other things like your tax, your pension submission, and every other thing. So yeah, I hope that you found value in this video. Do let me know in the comment section which function or department do you want us to cover next. I wish you nothing but all the very best in your job hunt. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button, give us a thumbs up, and do leave us a comment. Until next time, have a lovely day or evening or morning. Bye.